Hello everyone, Helv here. Before we begin this episode, of course, first, due to the Russia-Ukraine situation, yes, we keep things normal here. Don't ask. Also, by USA and Canadian copyright laws, anything that we show on this show is deemed under fair use or fair guidance under their copyright laws due to us basically giving our thoughts and expressions on what the hell happened. With that said, prepare for saltiness, don't take what we say seriously, and with that said, let's enjoy the show.
Calling all stations, clear the air lanes, clear all air lanes for the big broadcast. I'm calling Torchings.
Don't take anything that we're about to say seriously, unless you're the El Cazador known as Antonio Brown.
Who the hell do you think you're talking to? I mean, shut the fuck up! Whoa! Whoa! Here we go! Here we go! I told you it was gonna happen! I knew it would happen! Mr. Heyman, to your replacement. Come on down.
Y'all better hope the Lightning lose tonight, because I'm about to talk an outrageous amount of trash. I do not care. Hashtag Go Bulls.
2 hours later.
I do not want to talk about it.
Congratulations, you are the winner slash loser. All right, let's try this again. Son of a bitch! Well, if you can't beat him, join him. For 2022 Stanley Cup champion. What am I supposed to do? What can I do?
Holy shit, that intro.
Yeah, 2 minutes worth of shenanigans.
It was worth it, too.
We're doing the
Also,
same.
also,
Hi,
is that you like what I
everybody.
did beforehand this time?
What?
Yeah, we saw help. We're good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know you're stuck in the back room, Valor. We're gonna get you out.
Okay,
And
but
Kirby,
come in the
by
back
the
room. I
way.
don't care about.
Not every intro has to have the butt fumble.
However, some teams definitely did butt fumble this week. We'll get
Yep.
to that in this week's show.
But first, the topics. We got some hockey shenanigans, which includes
The
hires,
finals recap.
torchings, torches, news trades, Memorial Cup, and as well as a Stanley Cup final.
Then
recap.
USFL final today as well.
We'll get there
Oh,
soon,
shut
Kirby.
the Kirby! You jumped
We're
the gun
getting
on
there,
me,
Kirby.
man.
Settle down.
Settle down, otherwise I'm sending you to the
Uh,
potatoes.
Wait, Valor's stuck in the back room, or is that?
Shut up!
Is it,
Shut up,
Kirby.
Shut up!
Shut.
Kirby. We just mentioned that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we got somebody blowing.
The NBA being the Bootleg North American Comedy Festival.
Wow.
I mean, literally. Does that actually explain what the hell's happening over there?
9.
Yes, the USFL breaking the spring football curse. Finally, they're gonna crown an actual champion. Yes, they're
Yep.
finally gonna get some shit done.
Right, Magoda is swapping out.
Yep.
Alright. Discuss. Alright, Miguel, we will.
Alright.
Valor, get your ass in here.
Valor, get in here.
Hi, folks. It's Valor here.
Yep. Alright.
Alright, so-
With that stated, we also have some, oh my god, NCAA realignments.
Yep. And
Oh,
let's go ahead and
boy.
start.
And,
Oh, boy.
but first, as well as our coveted shit stain of, not so coveted or coveted shit stain of the week. But first,
it's
me
Zane
and
slash
Valor have some
Bozo. Take your
shenanigans to
pick.
deal with.
Oh boy. Helv, Valor, if you're starting
All right.
with what I think you're going to start with,
Yep.
So it
you
is
guys got
another-
a gem.
Okay.
Spinalis.
This
Spinalla.
good old Spinalla at its finest from the UK this week.
Yep.
And the big story here, somebody's on their 150th start. Sainz finally gets his first career Formula One win.
Vamos
Yeah.
España!
Huge thing for Ferrari to get back on track here. As I'm going to pull up the results up real quick.
I can definitely tell you who's in top 3.
I know top 3 as well.
Yeah.
We have Sainz coming in first. We have Chicho or
Sainz.
Sergio Perez in second,
Perez.
coming in placing second.
Yeah,
And we got Lewis Hamilton, who has been having a rough season, placing third.
Fourth, I believe it was.
God bless you, Reckoning.
Leclerc. Fourth was Leclerc.
Yeah. Fifth, I had Verstappen. If I'm not
It's
mistaken.
not bad.
Wait,
That
he
one
didn't
on
crash. Awesome.
However, okay, hang on.
Reckoning
Hang on, I
is
can take a
on
look
the
at
move.
it. Yep. Oh no, actually, it wasn't Verstappen. It was Alonso.
Alonso
Alonso
fifth.
fifth. Norris sixth. Verstappen seventh. Schumi
That's still not too
eighth,
terrible.
Vettel ninth, and finding himself in 10th. The
Not
Canadians in 11 and 12, so they were close to getting points, but not enough. Ricardo in 13th and Tsunoda in 14th, with Ocon, Gasly, Bottas, Russell, and Zhao, as well as Albon, deciding to kick the bucket first lap.
Yeah,
If I'm not
unfortunately, we had
First lap?
And them guys
we had some
suck.
pretty bad crashes earlier.
Yeah.
So probably not worth that.
First lap, to be precise.
Multiple car pilots.
The very first lap.
Yep, at
Yeah,
turn
we had-
1.
Multiple car pilots.
3
Thank
drivers
gosh.
out on the very first lap.
And
Yo.
guess who decided to pull the stupid juice?
Oh,
Ferrari?
Nope. Russell. Turns it, him and Zhao decided to do fucky wucky. He with Albon. And Ocon.
Phrasing.
Basically pincer.
more phrasing.
They did a illegal. They made
Hey!
everyone who was in that
Hey,
thing crash.
phrasing.
Yeah.
Do not
YM,
say crazy
Kirby,
for
YM.
5 minutes.
Unfortunately, we also are committing spinalas.
Oh my
That
It's a
was
sports disaster. We commit spinalas almost once a week.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Alright. Speaking of which.
My science is a committing spinala.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're
Oh my
mine.
god.
Alright, speaking of which, should we leave the hockey segment last today, or should we get away with it now?
No.
I mean, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We can
Yeah,
just go
bunch.
whatever.
Let's
Get away
move
with
on
it now.
to
Let's
the
go
next
college.
topic.
For college. So
Let's talk
let's-
about
yeah,
the
let's do
NCAA
college.
nonsense.
Let's
do
talk
college.
what in the fuck is college sports?
so
I couldn't tell you.
I can give
'Cause-
you 2 words. Actually, I can give you 1 phrase, actually. At
What?
least U Sports is better.
Oh, hold on.
so
Okay,
I don't know about
so-
that, Elf.
Here's the thing that I don't get with this whole realignment, and to fill in those who don't know, it has been announced that UCLA and USC
Yeah.
will be joining the Big Ten in 2024. Also announced, with less fanfare, but still pretty important. Let me check our notes. Memphis and the University of Southern Florida will be joining the ACC, and by the looks of it, the same year. So,
and North
I
Carolina will be
also
joining
want
the
to point something out
SEC.
here as
I mean,
well.
they've
guys.
wanted North
whoa, whoa,
Carolina
whoa.
for years.
Yeah, and there's also rumors going around that possibly some teams in Washington will be moving to the Big Ten as well.
We've heard rumors that Oregon and Washington could be joining the Big Ten as well, so we're going to have 18 teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I know.
I
know, it's
think
not
I'm
I
gonna
got
say the
one of those
Pac-12
teams.
is just basically
hang
a
on,
corpse
Doug.
of itself.
Doug, wait, I think one of those teams, either one or both of those teams, pulled out and they're going to stay in the Pac-12.
Yeah. I think both of them are.
Yeah, both of them are
Both
staying in the
are,
Pac.
actually.
there's just one thing I want to say. To me, Duck absolutely had it right. It's about money more than anything else. Because
Yeah.
as being from Pittsburgh, the nearest thing to me is of course Pitt. But this reminds me a lot when Pitt moved to the ACC from the Big East. They lost their recruiting pipeline. It destroyed their basketball team.
Okay,
And while their
Kirby's
football
out for
team
running
has
rookie
recovered,
episode.
to me,
Oh, come on.
to me, it just feels like this is a move that is going to utterly and completely destroy USC, if not both them and UCLA.
So hold on, Zeph, for a second.
Also,
Get the fuck out of here!
Thank you.
That was for Kirby because he decided to do a certain joke in our chat,
anyways.
which is a huge no.
Anyways, let's go.
But to go back to what I
Have
was
you
saying,
learned your lesson? Have you learned your lesson yet, Kirby?
Yes, I would, but I want you to set me up. You can't do that.
We didn't.
What do you mean?
Someone said pull out.
Anyways,
so you're just removing the dipstick.
Jokes
Perfect.
aside,
But for me, I just see this move as just detrimental because UCLA, they've been competitive. They can pull off some decent upsets, as we saw. What was that against Baylor a couple of years ago?
yeah,
I remember it was talked about, but their team that can compete. They can make some noise. And then there's USC. Don't get me started on them because their the last time they were relevant was 2005. And why I say don't get me started, yes, they've produced some NFL players since then, but the biggest name that's come out of there since is Sam freaking Darnold.
only two things. I have
Actually-
only words to say about that
Actually-
2005 season.
Hold on. They actually
Vince
the last time they were
Gill.
relevant was The last time they were relevant
That was the last
2008
time you
when they
were
number-
relevant.
One at a
Actually,
time.
Hold on. The last time they were relevant was 2009 when they were number 1.
Nope,
And then they collapsed.
that's why.
yep.
Because the last time they were really
Stupid!
they were
Collapsing back in
Excel.
Toronto in the first round.
the last time they really had national attention was when they had Matt
Reggie
Liner
Bush.
and the great Reggie Bush.
And then
Before that got rescinded because of scandal.
with head coach Pete Carroll.
That too, I forgot about that.
Ah,
But
Pete Carroll.
since
What a name.
since then, they've mostly been doormat. So them moving to the Big Ten, they're basically becoming a cupcake team.
No, I just thought so.
Well, considering the fact they joined the West, maybe not.
In
Because
the
the
Big
West,
Ten,
the
they'd be a
West is
cupcake.
I don't know about that. The West is more chaotic than when I made it snow in Hawaii.
You have to face
Yeah.
you either have to face the usual juggernaut like Ohio State, the Michigan Wolverines who could maul you, Penn State
Michigan-
who
Michigan's
who, I
turning
don't know.
into a bigger juggernaut.
But
There's
Like I
also
there's also the West Division where it's been somewhat different the past few years, I believe.
but your normal West Division juggernauts, Wisconsin, they've owned that division for years now.
And they've been
But-
fought. The West is usually fodder for the East.
Yeah, but now the Big Ten already covered areas in the past, like they covered Washington D.C. area with Maryland. You got New York City area up in Rutgers and Piscataway, New Jersey, and now you got the two main rivals out of Los Angeles. You got USC, UCLA over in Los Angeles, as if they didn't need any more money. They got more money makers now. But
What the
at
hell?
least they got the two rivals. SEC's just asking for North Carolina. That's going to break up a potential Duke North Carolina rivalry unless
Odds
can
are they
figure something
probably
out.
keep that rivalry intact.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and they
Yeah,
decided to move Texas and Oklahoma. Red River Showdown.
Oh,
My
Oklahoma.
questioning is, hang on. My questioning is, will Notre Dame do the unthinkable here?
Actually join a conference? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Wait.
It would take
Wait.
enough money to run the country out of business.
Plus, they've been up NBC's asses for so long. They don't really need to join a conference.
Wait.
Hang on.
Someone
I
said
do-
Oklahoma. Someone said Oklahoma.
Yeah.
More
Hang on.
like Choklahoma again.
Ah, yes. Last week when they got swept by old frickin' Miss.
Yeah, it wasn't. The funny isn't the funny that it wasn't the way that it wasn't that it happened. It's the way that it happened.
Yeah, back-to-back home runs in the first game, then throwing 2 wild pitches to give up the 2 go-ahead runs in the second game.
But hey,
And
at
then
least
Speaking of which,
And then they struck out. And they all struck out consecutively in the ninth.
Yeah.
But we all know why that USC and UCLA are coming to the Big Ten.
We've got to have money.
here
And
comes
my
the
response to that?
Shut up, bitch!
they
No.
want to get paid, but they'll instead, but by the looks of it, they'll end up getting plastered.
Valor,
Yeah.
these aren't whalers' pants.
You look like them. Deal with
These are
it, buddy.
Canuck shorts.
It's Canucks.
Close
you
enough.
idiot.
I mean, hey,
It's still enough. But yeah,
They-
It's
Let's
still
go
a weird
continue on with
combination
baseball.
like pineapple and pizza, but still.
It's
hey,
weird 'cause-
it could be worse. It could be like doing a QB sneak on a 3rd and 9.
at your
What
own
is that?
form.
That's a good
But
one.
yeah,
That's a good one. Should we head
We
into
have a little bit of
should we
baseball
do-
to talk
should-
about.
Sure.
All right, with that
Hang
said, should
on.
we do a slight detour to baseball?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll
Right,
step
or-
out.
We can do that.
Yeah, all right.
Uh,
yeah, and let Ardina
all right,
in
Zep, you're
because
gonna
Ardina's
step
Yep,
out.
I'll let
much
Ardina
baseball.
in. Zepp
To
will
the
step
ball.
out.
The ball
Alright,
of
We're
base.
moving Zep. Oh, and
Alright.
Ardina.
Ardina.
Zep slips out, and we're
Ah.
waiting on Dino.
Enter Ardina.
Ardina, what is your news?
Hey,
Well, it might have to have some news of a certain star pitcher.
Oh.
Oh.
How's this for a rotation, for a starting rotate bullpen? Max Fried, Ian Anderson, Kyle Wright, Mike Soroka, Jacob DeGrom.
DeGrom. What?
Buster Olney has reported that Jacob DeGrom might test the waters of free agency after this 2022 season, and the Atlanta Braves are favored to be the team to sign Jacob DeGrom.
Do you have the money?
They would. They would.
You do.
If just imagine a rotation with 5 Cy Young candidates.
I think that's a little much, but point proven.
all right.
And also the Braves lost to the Reds in their 3rd game on a walk-off. F.
Oh no, anyway.
And
But-
somehow
Oh,
the
no.
Guardians actually beat the Yankees today. 2-0.
No.
And also, Google does not like the Reds. Have you checked what Google did to the Reds?
I have.
Oh yeah, I saw on the.
And
So,
speaking of my
I
do
profit
wanna-
baseball
hang on.
teams with
I need
wins.
to see this.
Boys?
Sorry.
Ardina, Forza Ferrari.
What have
Forza
they done?
Ferrari.
What have they
Your
done?
Vamos!
Hang on.
Vamos.
Thoughts on Science finally winning something for a change.
I was crying. I was so happy.
Did you actually decide to do an attempt thing at the La Match Real?
Honestly, that was just a fantastic race. That was
Yeah.
one of the best races I've ever seen. Holy cow.
Also,
Wait.
Doug, earlier you were talking about Oklahoma hitting 3 straight home runs, but how about a team hitting 4
In a row.
Somebody hit 4 straight home
yesterday?
runs.
It was the Cardinals yesterday,
Oh
About
my
the-
god!
including
And by the way,
team.
it was Oklahoma didn't hit back-to-back.
They gave up. It was
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, it was the 2 Nolans back to back, followed by 1 Yepes and Dylan Carlson in the 1st inning.
The first inning, they
Yep.
got
But
4 straight.
although what's
home runs.
funny, it got really close at the end. It was tied in the 9th inning until Nolan Arenado hit another one.
So you know
so
what
now-
I'm gonna
and of
say
course-
here, boys?
What?
That was getting heavy for the other team.
Okay.
Which yeah, and of course,
If-
so of course Nolan
You and
hits
your
2
hockey
home runs.
horns, man.
So
Can't help it.
so Arenado
Pantera
hits 2 homers.
intensifies.
So Arenado hits 2 homers yesterday. The day before, he hits for the cycle. Have yourself a weekend Nolan Arenado.
Oh my
Hey.
god.
By the way,
God.
also by the way, I need everyone to take their fingers out because it's time to point and laugh.
At who?
But first, so of course you know, Friday's a good payday. Everyone gets their money. Everyone gets their money. They get to go do what they want. They're happy. But this past Friday, 2 people got paid big time.
All
And
right.
their names are Chris Davis and Bobby Bonilla.
I got laughing myself.
Mets baseball never disappoint.
And
Yeah,
speaking of the
Jacob-
Orioles, we
Yeah,
actually
but
hit the
Bonilla
tees
did.
today. We didn't
Yeah.
get swept.
Yay! You did the basics.
Yeah.
It only took a
Now
couple
go in the
home runs, but it works.
Yeah.
All right.
Of
With
course,
that said,
of course,
I
throughout the
think
day,
it's
throughout the day, I'll be coming through with baseball updates too.
we also, before we continue, we also like to say happy belated Canada Day as well as happy early
4th of July.
4th of July.
Yep.
Because we're not doing a show tomorrow because there's no reason to and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Because everybody
Yeah.
will be out watching fireworks.
Yeah,
or
probably.
me at home, just or me
Or
at
at
home,
least
just-
salt mine fireworks, which is
No.
Maybe.
deal with it.
maybe or
We're taking
just-
that holiday off, man.
and,
Yeah.
or just me doing a shit ton of Fall Guys.
Yeah.
Bruh. Oh my gosh, speaking of which, have you
with
seen the
that
fucking
said-
Twitch's frame rate when it's not docked in that game? Oh boy.
Okay. Speaking of which,
Should we go ahead
do
and
we have
move
anything
on?
else?
Let's
No,
move
other
on.
than
Let's
the
move
on
topics
to the
that we
next
want to cover.
topic.
No, I'll just be giving a baseball updates throughout the show, but yeah.
Okay.
The Royals beat the Tigers 7-4.
Yay.
All right. With that said,
Hey, you said baseball updates. Did you
Yeah.
not?
Fair
I know-
enough. Do it.
yeah, I know,
I'm
no
gonna
worries.
say, guys, do that in the comment. Do that in the live chat, actually.
But
So,
yeah, I'll also put an update.
with that said,
We can go ahead and move on to.
let's go to the Memorial Cup first. Actually,
All right.
Is this golf?
no hockey.
Hockey.
Minor league.
So if
minor
you want
league
to step
hockey.
out for this, be my
Yeah,
guest,
I'll
we can
step
both
out.
Step back in.
All right,
All right.
Zep, get your ass back
We'll
in
let
here.
you we'll let you back in, and if you want to do shit stain.
Zep, you're back in.
Oh God!
Yeah, I
Someone
had
blew it here.
Duck. This time
What?
it was you.
What do you
Someone-
mean it was me?
I
This
let
is
him
what
in.
happens when you have more than one person trying to control the stream.
All right, Zep, you're back in.
If he's even here.
Yeah,
he-
he's
there
new.
he
There he
He's
is.
not.
With that
Sorry
said,
about that. I was just finishing off pizza that I got right before coming in.
Pizza time.
nice.
Pizza
All
time.
right,
Pizza time.
with that
Speaking of
said,
which,
Mental Gen,
speaking of
I do
which,
have some.
I ordered some for later tonight
Ooh,
Pizza
Nice.
for
All
the
right, with that
USFL final.
All right, boys, let's get into some Memorial Cup here. So, Canadian Major Juniors actually decided to have their finals finally after 2 years of bullcrap.
Yep.
Time.
This year, the games were held at St. John's, home to the St. John Sea Dogs.
Isn't that the one Canadian NCAA basketball team?
No. St. John's is in New York City.
Oh.
Yep.
You're
You're thinking
saying
of
it's the
SF
same
though.
name.
Whoa.
Okay.
You're thinking of Simon Fraser University, dumbass.
No, there's a
No,
St. John's.
no, it wasn't. I was.
There's a
thinking
St. John's in
Yes,
New
you
York.
did.
There's also a St. John's in Canada. So he
It's
just
in
thought,
New Brunswick.
There is also St. John's in Newfoundland, but
Yeah.
yeah.
no,
But
it
that's
was
too
many
St.
St.
John's
John's.
Red
That's
Stormtown,
different, but
Newfoundland.
that's a different
It's
spelling.
in
That's
New
a-
York
whoa,
City.
whoa, whoa.
All right. Anyways,
I meant to say St. John, not St. John's. My bad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's a technicality on me.
Oh well.
anyways,
but
let's move on
anyway.
to hockey.
The hosts have won the Memorial Cup. For the first time since, I don't know how long, 06 or 07?
What
Who
Sea
won-
Dogs?
Yeah.
No,
The
I
first
think
time-
they won their
No,
last
no,
Memorial Cup.
Like,
in-
it's the first time the hosts have won since...
No,
the
the
first time
the hosts have won the Memorial Cup after that. I think it was in 2017 when Windsor.
I'll take a look at the list of more.
either way, for St. John's, how long has it been since their last title? Do you know?
Oh, 2017.
Yeah, 2017 when Windsor beat Erie.
Ah.
And in 2022, St. John, this is their second Memorial Cup, their first since 2011.
Wow.
When they won the QMJHL
Mm-hmm.
as well. And they beat the Hamilton Bulldogs in the final by a final score of I think like 6-3.
6-3.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The last time that St. John's won, they won 3-1 against the hosts of that year, Mississauga St. Michael.
Nice.
Mississauga St. Michael's
Mississauga.
Majors in
Not to
2011.
be confused with Mississippi.
Okay, so the last time a host won a Memorial Cup was the OHL's Windsor Spitfires.
Yes.
Unless
In
you're running that.
2017 when they
talked
beat
about
fellow OHL mates, the Erie Otters.
Yeah,
4-3.
also from the OHL.
Yep, we already
Yeah.
talked about this, Valor.
I blew it.
And
Ooh.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I also
matter.
have some news about 2023, though.
What?
2023 Kamloops will be hosting.
They
Meaning
announced
that you'll
that during the Western Conference Final in the WHL.
Yes. So, so that means two, of course, per Memorial Cup standards, two teams from one league will
If Hell's internet can
the host
come back
team.
on.
Yeah, I also want to say something here, though. If the hosts win the championship, I think it's whoever's also made it to the finals.
I think the finalists will take that spot.
The other finalist.
Unlike the NCAA, where you just have the top seed move on.
Mm-hmm. And with that said, all I'm gonna say is whoever's gonna try and make it to 2023, may the odds be ever in your favor.
Don't get eliminated.
Just trying to.
And now that we're done with the Memorial Cup, we have another cup to get to.
Oh yes, Lord Stanley.
I
The
can finally
Stanley
break
Cup.
this out. I'm happy for the Avalanche.
Even though
Because-
none of us here are actually Avs fans.
Here's the thing. This, like, when it comes to hockey, you guys know I'm a big hockey fan. Of course,
Yeah.
Penguins, number one for me. I have a lot of family from the area of Michigan, so Red Wings obviously number two. But then there's the Avalanche, third in the list, and I am happy to see that they won. Because if we remember, in the 2016-17 season, that was absolutely rock bottom. They finished with one of the worst records in the history of the NHL.
Who?
And
The
three
Avalanche.
pieces of the same core that were there won the cup. Rantanen was there when they were hit rock bottom. Landeskog was the captain of that team too. And Nathan McKinnon was still one of the star players. All three of them now have cups, as does another big name from that team, Eric Johnson, who's been around since 2006, got dealt in the Shattenkirk deal, and if this is his last run,
What a way to go.
yeah.
And
Wow.
also,
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
and
mad
that
lad.
season got so
Hey,
bad that
also-
every time they lost, they would post the poop emoji
yeah.
of the app's logo on Twitter.
But also in the
Did
process,
nothing wrong.
also in the process, fuck Corey Perry.
Yes, he is the first. If not, yes, he's the first player to make 3 straight finals with 3 different teams and
And lose
lose
them
all
all.
3. The last time something like that happened, it was only this guy made 3 finals, but won last one and is now in the Hockey Hall of Fame. That player is Marian Hossa.
I've got
Yep,
something.
2008 with Pittsburgh, 2009 with Detroit, but at least you got 2010 with Chicago.
I've got
After
something.
Corey Perry,
I've got
at
something.
least
for
you have
Lori Larry here.
2007.
I've got something here for Lori Larry.
And them guys suck.
And nothing of value was lost.
On the other hand, the question becomes now, what do the Lightning do? Because, as we're going to probably cover in a moment, they made a big move to get rid of one of the older guys in the roster, Ryan McDonough. I'd say the only reason they lost the Avalanche was because the Avalanche were just better. It's
Yeah,
not,
pretty much.
there wasn't really anything wrong with them necessarily in that series. Just that everything that the Lightning did, the Avalanche could do, but better. They
I will
had
say
Everything you
The
You
can
can do, I can
this
do
Avalanche team,
better.
that was their toughest test in their 3-year run,
Yeah.
in the Lightning 3-year run.
yes.
And
By a
say
good
they
distance.
failed that test, but there's no really a shame. There's no
And-
shame.
And then
Also,
speaking of,
yeah.
sorry.
you're dealing with a team that was looking to get things done, and after last year where they lost in embarrassing fashion to Vegas,
Ain't no way, boy.
this felt like their year, especially with the further emergence of Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon into the superstar status. Gabe Landeskog, Mika Rattanen also there, and of course Nazem Kadri, who
Hey, St. Louis.
many people were like, "Oh, when's he going to get suspended?" But he didn't. He instead was a key part of this team, as were other depth pieces like Logan O'Connor, Arturi Lehkonen, who they got at the trade deadline, and also they got the veteran experience they needed, and a Western Conference Final clincher with Darren frickin' Helm, one of the 2 players on that team who had a Stanley Cup ring before this year.
My brother said it was weird to see him skating the cup around with an Avs jersey on.
Yeah.
It is because of how long Darren Helm was with the Red Wings, how much he did for them. But you know what?
Fun fact, he scored his first ever goal in the playoffs in the conference final in 2008.
Oh, and by the way, remember if you.
Oh, by the
No.
way, the Angels have struck out 19 times today.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I was also going to
Anyways,
say, because I have a
boys,
final update.
let's-
Sorry, Ballard, but the Nationals lost to the Marlins 7-4 in 10 innings.
Oh no!
It's-
Anyway,
no,
it's mostly an
It's
Orioles.
20. It's 20 strikeouts now.
Oof.
20?
To me, I just think like with the Avalanche, you enjoy the summer, because you don't really have that many very big free agents other than Kadri who are going to be at the open market. You can basically bring the main core back, and is another run in the cards? Maybe. But honestly, if this is it for that core, so what?
No, Helv is hopping out. Miguel, you're in.
I'd also like to bring, if you're partying with an Avalanche player fan, do not bring anything easily breakable. Exhibit A of Y to not the Stanley Cup.
Oh,
Oof.
you mean the flyer that dented the aluminum thing?
Yeah,
That
the
things are-
guy that dented it before they even got a picture with it.
I mean,
let
that
me
bottom
explain.
man,
Let
I
me
think,
actually
can be
interesting.
replaced.
Yeah.
They brought him up like 2 years ago, back in like 2019, 2020. He did barely anything. Comes playoffs, he doesn't do anything. Is sent back down to AHL. We called him up back at the end of like when they did like the COVID shortened season. We called him up late in the season. Didn't do anything again. In the first 22 games with the Flyers, he only had 1 assist. That was it. So they decided to waive him. When he goes to the Avalanche, he finally breaks out and has a career year.
All right.
Sometimes it's just about finding the right place.
Yep.
And I think with Abu Kubel, even though his impact wasn't as big as some of the other names I mentioned in the playoffs, you could definitely feel his presence on that defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's
then,
what he was brought in Philly to do. He couldn't do that.
And then also
Oh,
earlier you're talking
it's
about. Earlier you mentioned the trade earlier today.
Yep. Ryan McDonough.
Ryan
He's
McDonough
gonna
was
be going
traded
to
away
Nashville.
in a cap move. In return, they received an AHL forward and a French defenseman who has also been traded for a cap dump last year. Miguel would know about that one.
And he was bought
Felipe
out.
Myers.
He was
Yeah,
bought out. He was bought
No,
out.
it's-
as well.
Actually, no. That report was actually false. It came out that Tampa won't buy out Myers.
So Tampa Bay is getting Philip Myers.
Yes.
I know a little bit about Myers. The thing about Myers is
Oh,
Go
God,
on.
Miguel net struck.
the defense
Net.
the year before had
Miguel.
let Hart get
Miguel,
destroyed. Can you still hear me?
Miguel, wait. Your
Yeah.
private internet is showing up.
I
Can you
will
hear me?
say this.
Yep, we hear you.
And
Reckoning.
he's
Oh,
gone.
never mind.
And he's
Rec-
gone.
Reckoning being the
Hey, I had
being
it.
a Nashville fan that
I
you
was
are.
moving it.
I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think of
Okay.
McDonough with Nashville now?
I mean, it's gonna be really interesting because
And
honestly,
look
the one
back
thing
in.
the one thing I was satisfied with was the decor, so that's a little bit shocking. I'm Marone.
Sorry about that. I'm sorry.
Kirby has an update. Oh yeah, I just saw it. A walk-off homer by the Houston Astros,
Against who?
the Angels.
Oh, by the way, in regards to that 20 strikeout thing,
They lost.
Ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I think I
Ain't no
might
way.
have to switch.
By the way, I think it's time for
Boy, ain't no
everyone.
way, boy.
Kirby, turn it off. I think it's everyone to take their fingers back out. 20 strikeouts.
how do you
impressive.
do this? Oh!
Wait, hold on a second.
Magic.
I'm gonna do the math. I'm gonna do the math in my head. There's 9 innings of
20
baseball. How many innings
20
did it go to? How many innings?
No, it was just 9
You go to
innings.
9.
Okay, so it's 9 innings, and you had 20 strikeouts over those innings.
Oh,
If you
over
divide
2
20 by
strikeouts
9,
per inning.
that means you're literally averaging. Let me think.
Over 2 per inning.
You're averaging 2.5 per inning. 2.5
Yes.
strikeouts per inning. Plus, if you have that in, that's got to be one of the worst strikeout rates in a game in baseball history.
Yeah.
If
think
you
I
add
might-
that,
back to this trade. It's again going back because remember last year the Predators traded Ryan Ellis for Felipe
Oh,
Myers and
God.
Cody Glass. So the Predators have essentially traded Ellis for McDonough.
yeah, Ellis has not been good for the Flyers. The
Yeah.
5 games he played in, he was all right. But here's the problem: he didn't get surgery on his injury. He tried to toughen through it. Like, he tried to let it heal and then come back from it.
Ooh.
First game, he comes back, plays all right, gets injured the next game, and it looks like reports are saying he has not even managed to make much, if any, progression since then in his
Yeah.
injury return.
Yeah, it's just kind of sad
Yep.
because with Ellis, as Reckoning would know, being a Nashville Predators fan, this dude could be an anchor of a defense and one of the top 4 guys.
And believe me, he was when he
In,
played for
Phil-
us.
in Philly, it just so far has worked out because injuries.
Injuries.
And
Obligatory fuck Corey Perry.
yeah,
I actually looked at it last year. You wouldn't know how many call-ups the Flyers had because of injuries last year.
How many?
They were a walking hospital. 15
So-
calls from the AHL.
So
15.
basically, the NHL's version of the Saints.
Yep.
No, the
Yes.
49ers for a few years ago. No, here's the thing.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mentioned this.
both.
No, they're
Yeah,
the
I mentioned
version
this.
of that
Literally.
SpongeBob character that was bone with glass bones
I
and
know.
paper skin.
That's literally what it was for the entire year.
And
You
heart
literally
attacks
had
to
no
put
one
'em to
passer
sleep.
go down. Like I literally can name like we called up. Literally, we had I think 4 defenders called up for the minors, 1 off waiver, and then like the rest were wingers and 2 goalies were called up as well.
But to me, the biggest thing that makes this interesting would be Tampa Bay, because yes, McDonough is the oldest member of that defensive core who is severely missing Braden Point last year, which kind of made him the odd man out. This also makes you wonder about what their plan is, because Corey Perry, if I'm not
The cap
mistaken,
space.
he's going to be a free agent, and he's not the veteran leader you guys need. That was McDonough. So now you're missing a veteran presence in that lineup that you have to fix. Patrick Maroon could be that, but with McDonough's experience with the Rangers for all those years, that's going to be a lot to ask of any of them. So now what? Now what, Tampa? You've gotten rid of one of your a guy who's been there since that infamous 2019 season.
6 days in April.
6 days in April, indeed. So
Wait, they were
you're
eliminated in just
looking
6
to
days.
replace that leadership. You're looking to upgrade that defense, which again, McDonough was a big piece to, and you have to deal with the first series loss in 3 years.
Since 6 days in April.
Wait, I'm curious about that. Is that because the 6 days in April? Is that how long they lasted in the playoffs?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
4 games, 6 days.
Jesus.
They were the first ever President's Trophy winners not to win a single fucking game.
Wait, what about the Blackhawks?
No, they weren't President's Trophy winners back in the day. That was
Damn it.
Capitals in 2017.
But
Did you just say the Blackhawks dynasty?
No, I was talking about 2017 when they got swept.
We
They've
don't
been swept
talk
before.
about that anymore. We
Yeah.
try to pretend that it doesn't exist for obvious
but-
reasons.
Yeah.
seriously, with the Lightning, this feels to me, as a bit of an outsider, but also a fan of hockey, like this is a move that's going to negatively impact them in the long term. Am I thinking it's going to be like what happened when the Penguins brought in Reeves? No, it'll take some time to decide that, but I can definitely say this is a move that's going to change the internal identity of this Lightning team.
Yeah.
Will it be for the better, for the worse, or for the abysmal is yet to be determined.
Yep. And then
Maybe all three.
And of course, there's what he's going to be doing in his new home. Like imagine him being paired up with Roman Yossi.
Reckoning?
Yeah.
I can see just salivating at the thought of that right now. And there's a reason, because McDonough is one of the best two-way defensemen in the game currently. He has a lot of experience, and pairing it with Roman Yossi, who it was literally a coin flip between him. It was literally a coin flip between him and Carr for the Norris this year.
Okay, Mago, do you want back
Jeebus.
because Helv is scratching at my legs trying to come back in.
You want me to drop out, don't you?
Who wants to jump out?
I'll stay, but I just want while you guys are figuring that out.
I'll drop out.
All right, that was out.
For the Predators, this is like, again, their bread and butter has been their defense. It has for a while now, and they just added another great piece. They are looking. I hate to say it, Reckoning, because I'm going to jinx them, but they are looking lethal next year. There's only one thing that can stop them. His name, John Hines.
And also, while we're talking about this, sign Philip Forsberg. Did you see what he was asking for?
What?
No.
Like the contract he wants is an absolute bargain. $8.5 million.
For how long?
I mean, now, of course, it's going to be 8 years, but
yeah.
But still, that's a deal you make if you want to win now.
What?
If you want to win now,
That's a good bargain deal.
That's not bad.
True.
He wants to take less to continue to stay with the team he thinks is going to win with.
Yeah.
So how do they fuck this up?
David Poyle, that's how they fuck it up.
Very carefully.
John Hines, that's how.
Very carefully.
That's why they don't talk to themselves, because they don't need expert advice.
Look, if Forsberg walks in free agency, Poyle has to go. Because here's the thing, Zep, I know you don't like this. Let me explain why. So, of course, this past year, Forsberg was last year on his contract. You had two decisions. You either sign him long term, or you trade him and get a bunch of firsts, get a bunch of high-end prospects. You can't choose option C. Option C is getting decapitated and getting your head hung on the antenna of Bridgestone Arena.
But basically, you want to hear my opinion? And I'm pointing at it. Talk to yourselves and do it.
Yeah.
Oof.
We have to sign Philip Forsberg.
And if
do
you
it, just do it.
And if you don't, all of Nashville will come true.
And also, why did we extend John Hines?
Because you love it.
So
mainly because I think you probably made the playoffs for the first time. How long has it been?
No, we've made the playoffs every year since. We've made the playoffs every year since our cup run, and I think before that, every year since.
The burning you feel, it is shame.
Fucking sign him or get kurvad.
Yikes.
Honestly,
also,
I mean, Forsberg,
I have an idea. Axe Poyle hire Trotz.
I am posting something
Then again, I
in
think
our
Barry
chat
Trotz
for
wants to stay
reckoning.
away from
Although
hockey.
actually, I
we
think it
still
was
have
reported
to-
that if he was going to take any job, it would be a front office job in Nashville.
Maybe.
Let's see. What we'll also have to see is how this new coaching carousel will work. Because
The oldest man in hockey is back.
John.
Rick Bonus.
Oh yeah, Rick Bonus is now the. Excuse me, Kirby. I think.
I was metaphorically hanging myself.
Kirby,
Okay, we don't need to hear that.
But here's the thing.
No.
So let's just run down these names really quickly. Let me just. Bob Buchner of the Sharks fired. Former coach of the Dallas Stars, Rick Bonus, hired by the Winnipeg Jets. Jim Montgomery, formerly of the Dallas Stars, hired by the Boston Bruins. Former assistant coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, let me get the name. That would be Derek Lalonde, who was with the Lightning since that 2018-19 season, hired by the Red Wings. So, we've got the Bruins getting their new head coach, the Jets getting their new head coach, the Red Wings getting their new head coach, and the Sharks firing theirs.
Is this as of the last week?
Yes, this is just within the last week. So, the question to you guys I want to ask is, of these new hires or new moves, who do you think is going to impact the teams they're on most?
Detroit.
The names. Do they have to be
Detroit.
the teams listed?
Yes,
Because
that,
you still got some
Detroit,
exciting
Winnipeg.
prospects over there in Detroit.
Detroit, Winnipeg, Boston,
and San Jose. With
San Jose. But yeah, it's gotta be Detroit.
Oh
Detroit.
yeah, Detroit.
Um,
You got some exciting prospects over there. You still
Yeah.
got that Carolina guy from last
Oh,
year.
also, we forgot about Chicago.
Oh yeah, Luke Richardson of Chicago.
Yeah, it's still gonna be Detroit.
I hate to say it, but with
Good
Chicago, but there's a reason I kind of forgot about Chicago is that
It's because
they're
meant
basically
to
a
be
sinking
forget.
ship.
Boys,
They're meant to be
bef-
forgetted.
Hang on. To Kirby?
But I'll agree with Duck and Reckoning and Magoat and say that Detroit to me seems like the biggest move because Lalonde was a former assistant to John Cooper of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he was with them when they won back-to-back Stanley Cups, and even when they went to the Stanley Cup again this year. To me, this is the right move because Eisman, formerly with Lightning, probably got to see some of the stuff Lalonde did with the team, like we saw, and now is getting to work with a team that has some good veteran presence, a Calder winner, and another guy who finished in the top 5 in Calder voting. So,
Ducks and Leafs fans mauled at that.
especially Leafs fans because it's their rival, the Red Wings.
Yeah, but also
Can't have
just
anything in Toronto.
Also,
Hey,
I know I was
You can't say that they did get a win in June for once.
You stole the joke.
Oh.
But yeah, but honestly, I kind of have a soft spot for Luke
hand, Val?
Richardson.
Good.
Shut. Help, Kirby, shut.
I think
That was a
hurt
frying
himself.
pan, yep, for brains.
Reckoning, go on with Luke Richardson.
I was just gonna say I kind of have a soft spot for him because he was my first D-man in the siblings that just ended a month ago. Yeah, and also we have another trade to talk about. Speaking of former Predators, Kevin Fiala. He's joining his former teammate Victor Arvidsson in LA.
Yep, for a pure cap dump.
And after that, Kevin Fiala signs a 7-year contract.
Yep, he's getting paid.
Ah!
Hang on, when does free agency start for hockey?
The 13th.
Yeah,
of July.
it starts after the draft, right?
Yes.
So we have 10 days to sign Philip Forsberg.
Yep.
But to me,
Also, for
I look at Los Angeles, and there's one thing I wonder. Great, you guys brought in some more speed and playmakers, but You lost to a depthless Edmonton team again.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I mean, well, again, LA was rebuilding. Like, again, this is what them playing
They
with
are
house money.
rebuilding.
So now,
Just the fact that they
close to
won 7
finish.
games against Edmonton is
Yeah,
impressive
it's
enough.
just
yeah,
perfect.
and now,
Just keep.
and now, like,
They're almost
this
finished.
this trade would signal that the rebuild is done. Like,
Mhm.
the rebuild is over. It's time for them to compete. Now,
There's
they
only one way to confirm that.
stay
Win
tuned.
a playoff series.
Yep. Do what
What-
Toronto can't.
And speaking of which, it's time for this somewhat Canucks fan to have a little fun.
What?
Go ahead.
Does your fun include having chaos in the city?
Nope.
Oh,
No,
Not
but it
this time,
involves,
my goat.
Nope, but it involves a contract extension and some Hall of Fame moments.
Well, actually, you know what? Hell, let's give you the floor for this one because you got a lot to say about these guys.
Hey, Spotlight.
Shut up.
Spotlight.
Deal
We
with it.
want everyone to have a say in this.
No.
what the hell?
And I will do a swap.
There.
Go ahead.
So, not only did Brock Besser got a contract extension, I believe it's like.
It was a good contract too.
It was a
Was
very
it
good
for free?
contract.
3 years, yeah.
3-year contract for how long? Ooh, close to 20 mil.
Nice.
Interesting.
I want to hear.
However, Hockey Hall of Fame happened a couple days prior.
Boo!
Three Canucks alumni have gotten in.
The Sedin twins and Roberto
Bobby
Luongo.
Lou.
Yep.
Or any of them
No,
from
Chris-
Game 7.
Chris Osgood. No, Chris
Yeah, the
Osgood still
Sedins.
makes them unserious. I fear.
To be fair, the
Come on.
Sedins I was kind of expecting because I think they're the first twins to actually get into the Hall of Fame together on
They
the
are.
same year
Yeah.
they got eligible, as well as Bobby Lou. All three of them got in on their first year of getting in.
Eligibility.
Yeah, eligibility.
You mean
Which I find
eligibility?
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they got Daniel
Interesting.
Alfredson that came in with them, but that's a side note because the Sedins and Bobby Lou or Roberto Luongo were big pieces to the core that helped them get back to the Stanley Cup in 2011. We did not speak of how that ended for fear of insulting health.
All we know is it resulted in fires and a couple making out in the middle of the street. So, moving on.
Yeah. But go on, health. Like, I want to know, like, with these three that were big, and of course the extension. As a Canucks fan, how are you feeling right now, and what do you see going
As
forward?
a Canucks fan, I say this is basically history already done, and it's come back. Because I think Burray's in the Hall as of this moment, is he not?
Yes,
Burray's in the
2012.
Hall. I think Quinn's in the Hall.
Yes.
Not Burrows yet. He still has a bit of years left, I think.
But Linden, I believe it's either Linden or
Linden is in, I think. Linden,
But-
I think, is in.
just want to know, like,
Is Naslund in or no?
I don't know, but I'm also looking at this and wondering, especially considering the Sedins were the biggest faces of the Canucks for a while. What happened? Like with them being in the Hall, is there anything that you remember from their time in Vancouver?
From Canucks and Bobby Lou in
Yeah,
in
from
Vancouver?
the Steens, Bobby Lou in Vancouver, because
2011. Well, of course, it has to be 2011 before Infamy decided to have some shenanigans.
Yeah.
But yeah, but basically the 2011 Cup run was basically one of the hardest memories. And to be fair, back-to-back President's Trophies, I think, that was pretty awesome too. Despite getting knocked out in the first round on the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an excellent year. And when these guys left, I believe in, 2018, 2019?
yeah, 18.
It was kind of sad, but they did get their jerseys retired in 2020.
They did.
Mm-hmm. Bobby Lou, I'm expecting he'll probably end up in the Ring of Honor like Alex Burrows.
Yeah.
Really?
His number's already retired in Florida. The only number they've retired.
Yeah.
But I also want to say some. I was going to let you finish up because you're the Canucks fan, but I want to say some thoughts about
Go
Bobby
ahead.
Lou.
Go ahead.
Then
I'll swap you in.
Okay. So, for a little, I think I've told this story before here about how I used to play hockey. Roberto Long, like other than Dominic Hasek, one of the guys who was still active in the league at the time that I looked up to just as a goalie, looking up to another goalie, was Roberto Luongo. It was Jonas Hiller was another name, but Roberto Luongo, even in the years after he was with the Canucks, he was still very serviceable, and just too bad the team didn't bail him out. He has up until Fleury took that, I believe last year, he had the third most wins of all time. He has the most wins of any goalie to not win the cup, even though he did come this close to it in 2011. And with what he's done for the community, especially after the whole thing in Parkland, this guy was an absolute legend both on and off the ice, and that's not even getting into his more lighthearted antics that you've probably seen on that you've probably seen somewhere on YouTube. But I think like this guy, Roberto Luongo, on the ice, absolutely phenomenal. Off the ice, absolute class act. The Panthers already retired his number in 2020 or 2021.
This
Probably
year, I think.
Yeah, but either way, it's like this is kind of even though he's the greatest goalie to not win a cup win a ring, I'd say there's no shame in the way it ended. He came close, but for what he did, can't really. There's not much to say. But I will also make this little jab. Imagine if the Islanders didn't trade him away. Mark. Who's that? Mike Milbury. Mike Milbury, you have an L again.
I do have to say something here, though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was 2020,
Milbury,
March 7th.
Let's throw a shoe in honor of that.
Of course, Milbury. But I think with Roberto Luongo, with how he's inspired so many goalies that came after him, and I believe he's one of the very few Italian-Canadian goaltenders to play. But for with what he did on the ice, off the ice, it was only a matter of time before the Hall of Fame came calling, and great that it finally did.
I agree.
Agreed.
We drink to that.
Yeah.
Now put Chris Osgood in, you cowards.
Give it time, my friend.
I think it's
the only other
time out,
400
boys. I
win
need to double
goalie
check
yet
who
not
in
be
the
in
Canucks
yet.
organization has been thrown into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
I think it's time to do the next one.
Yes.
Is it time to move on to the shit stain?
Nope.
I don't think
we got
so
some
yet.
basketball to cover.
Hang on. No.
But
we
before
missed a couple
that,
things. We have some hires and we have some torchings.
I think we already covered that.
Yeah, we
covered the coaching hires.
What about the sackings?
Yep, Bob Bugner's the only one gone.
Those. And don't be surprised if there's going to be any more.
Yeah.
Currently, the Sharks are the only team without a head coach, but that role is going to be filled soon enough.
Yeah.
And now we move from the ice to the hardwood. Duck, our resident NBA guy, we'll let you have the lead for this.
Oh, boy.
Put yourself in spotlight.
Got him.
Go ahead.
Guys, in 2016, players were given the Publishers Clearinghouse. In 2019, free agency rivaled that of everybody traveling during 4th of July weekend. Just like everybody in 4th of July weekend, everybody was going to different places. This time around, it's going to be the Publishers Clearinghouse, 4th of July weekend, and much,
much more. Let me pull up my list here of some crazy bullshit that has happened.
Do you want me to
The
list
first
off
one.
the biggest? Oh, go ahead, Doc, because I got the biggest
First,
one.
I want to start off with some personal ones. The Cavs are signing Ricky Rubio to a 1-year deal. Not too bad.
Yeah.
We got the Bad Lopez brother and Robin, and that's really about it for the.
Aren't they signing Garland? Didn't they sign him?
Yes, they did sign Darius Garland earlier. They gave him the Publishers Clearinghouse.
They gave him a Brinks truck or two, you could say.
Yes, they
no,
did.
that's for a different player.
They gave him 5 years, $231 million. It's the largest contract in the history of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Speaking of massive contracts,
and it was kind of deserved because Darius Garland had himself a year, and the Cavs almost made the playoffs if it weren't for that 3-game losing streak at the end of the season. But Garland earned his place on the Cavs roster. Really did. So,
All right.
And Seth, the Nets are imploding more than Las Vegas casinos.
Wait, before we get to that, we got couple big contracts to go over.
Yep.
First of all, Jalen Brunson, who emerged in this year's playoffs as a sidekick to Luka Doncic, is no longer a Maverick. He got signed by the New York Knicks. So the Mavs get robbed by the Knicks. And
How
now
do you get
the
robbed by
Knicks
that
have to try and figure out what they're doing. But even worse than that, we had a record breaker in the NBA. The largest contract ever handed out. I'm going to just mention the name and you guys give me an estimate. So, the name is Nikola Jokic.
You've already told three of us.
Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. You know, some people consider him the next Dirk
The
Nowitzki.
GDP of a small country.
So just give me a figure. Like, how much do you think, if it's record-breaking,
Zep, you already told three of us.
I think it's like 250 million or something.
Nope. Try 5 years, 264 million.
Yep.
That is the record. And, dare I say,
that's the Publishers. That's the
deserved.
Publishers Clearinghouse, a stake of ownership in Amazon, and much, much more.
Including
in a small Caribbean island.
Yeah.
Yep. But for Nikola
And there's
Jokic,
still more.
who's been
I was
the
gonna say-
star,
I was gonna say, like, there's another. There's another signing. Yeah.
yes, John Morant.
John Morant.
Bucks from the for Reckoning's Grizzlies.
Also
got paid the Publishers Clearinghouse. 5 years, $231 million.
Oh yeah. By the way, Flyers fans still won't shut the fuck up about him, Jokic winning MVP.
Flyers?
No, Sixers. Sorry, Sixers.
I was gonna say.
It's
you
Philadelphia
know
What are you
either way.
talking about? Someone blew it in there.
Don't trust the
It ain't
process.
us.
Do not trust the process.
Fuck the process. Give the liquor. Let's go.
Don't trust the process. Do not cross go. Do not collect $200.
Yep.
All right.
They're going after Durant apparently too.
All right.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, the Nets want to trade away Durant.
You thought that was it. We had 2 major dealings that happened. The first is a trade. Rudy Gobert going to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Duck,
Even the Utah
guess?
Jazz. Woo. So the guy who started the whole COVID thing in 2020,
Because
he
he thinks
is
he's funny.
going to Minnesota and pairing up with Karl Anthony Towns in a potential dynamic duo for Minnesota. They made it to the playoffs as the 7th seed, went up against Reckoning's Grizzlies, and they look to get back up to a higher seed this year.
Oh yeah, the series where they kept blowing leads.
Yes, and now of course the biggest dumbass in the league is going to the team with the biggest dumbass fans.
I don't know about
remember
that.
remember the
They
whole
kept storming
protests.
they
The protests,
that.
gluing their hands, chaining themselves. because of some
Oof.
slaughtering of diseased chickens.
Okay, that's enough of this. Devin Booker. He got a massive contract extension with the Phoenix Suns.
Some people thought he was leaving, but guess what? He ain't going.
And you thought the Doncic contract was bad? This is way bigger. This is bigger in terms of money per year.
Oh,
He got 4 years, $214 million.
whoa.
That is $2 million a year more.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me check, 'cause there might be an even bigger than that. Carl Anthony Towns, who you just mentioned, also got a deal with $224 million. I believe if that was over 4 years, like my notes say, that's $56 million a year.
Way more.
But aside from that big move, which saw Rudy Gobert trade for a number of interesting players, including Patrick Beverley, there's another big move on the way because the Nets continue to implode. Duck, take it away.
That is right. Remember that dynamic duo, that super team that they were building up in Brooklyn?
The super team.
It's in better. It's
Permission to
in
play
worse
Nets.
shape than all the buildings in Brooklyn right now. The Brooklyn Nets.
Have a,
The
hang on, should I play this
Kevin
sound?
Durant has requested a trade out of Brooklyn, and the favorites to get him are the Phoenix Suns or the Miami Heat. You know what that means, right? He's ring chasing again.
Permission
Well,
to
a
play
ring
the sound
chase-
because I think something's about to happen in fucking.
So,
In
wait,
New
a ring
York.
chase. Wait, a ring chase is upset that he didn't get a ring.
Oh no! Anyway,
But
Kyrie
you know what this
Irving
Even though
means
he
in
has
New York,
rings,
do
and
you
yes,
not?
even though he does have rings, it still counts.
Guys,
and
do you know
Kyrie
what this
Irving.
mean-
Let me finish, Elf. Because Kyrie Irving is the other part of this big deal.
Oh boy.
Kyrie Irving has opted to stay in Brooklyn. And now he's saying he wants out and he wants to join his best friend LeBron in LA. And with that, no, stay in Brooklyn.
Actually,
The Lakers
no,
have enough problems.
Actually, I have an idea. Go ahead and go to LA because when you fail, it'll be even more funny.
Yes.
But
Okay.
you know what's up? But you know what this means for the Brooklyn Nets? It's a supposed super team. Do you know
Go
what
on,
this
Hal.
means?
What?
Tactical nuke incoming!
Yes.
Okay,
Rent.
so
Okay, turn it
Back.
off now.
with the Nets, if you can put it back on full, to me the Nets are just, yeah, they're imploding, but B, this is a very bad sign because Kyrie Irving, it's been listed that Irving for what Russell Westbrook was a possible trade. I mean Westbrook, sorry.
No, you don't.
No,
No, you
Keep
don't.
saying it, keep
It's
saying it.
Russell Westbrook.
But
As a matter of fact,
here's the thing. Here's the thing that makes it very interesting to me, because Duck and I were talking about this before we came in. Westbrook, yeah, Westbrook. Part of the
Westbrook.
trade.
Westbrook.
Westbrook.
Irving, I should say. It was reported that before he decided to come back to the Nets on a 4-year deal, he was looking for a sign and trade, and the Nets couldn't find one. So what happens instead? He resigns, and now he still wants out. To me, I say don't even give him that. Just straight up cut him. Because if we remember, during the last season, he was missing for half the season because he refused to vaccinate and play in New York.
Dumbass!
Indeed. So, you have all these headlines, and Los Angeles is another city that's been heavily restrictive on those, as well as New York, of course. So, to me, I just see this as you're either way, Irving, unless he decides to get cut or gets cut, your best hope is going to a team that's pretty much bottom of the barrel, like say a Sacramento. Sorry,
luck.
Sacramento.
And
But on the other
also
hand,
these people-
you have Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant. He's been the guy who throughout the season has basically tried to carry this team on his back, and he couldn't do it because he didn't have pretty much everybody around him was at best okay-ish. It did get them into the playoffs, but that Boston team he beat last year, they want some revenge and a broom.
Oh, yeah.
So goodbye
And
to
a
you.
broom.
Bye-bye.
So now I see
And-
this as following. You have two players who want out, clearly. You have a coach who has been trying to work with this super team, emphasis on the air quotes there, and you really think this is going to work?
No.
I've said before, and I'll say it again. Free Steve Nash. Send him to a team that's not looking to that's not looking to win 7 rings like the LeBron era Heat in their first introduction promised they would. He needs a team that's not going to have those kind of high expectations or this level of chaos. You know why? Because forget days of our Steelers. This is becoming days of our Nets, and that is not a good sign if you're, wait for it, the Brooklyn Nets.
I have a different comparison. Meet the Nets, sweep the Nets, step right up and delete the Nets.
That's a good one.
Yes. Let's make
With that
let's make a
said,
Beat
parody
the
song
Nets.
with that.
Beat the Nets. Step
The
right
Nets.
up and beat the Nets.
The Nets.
Bring the
How are we not the
kiddies,
Nets?
bring your wife.
You have failed your vibe check. Goodbye. Anyways, ladies and
Only
gentlemen,
the best for the Nets. Did you enjoy the time that we weren't the Knicks?
Too bad.
and with that
And
said,
we have some more.
Oh.
Because we got one more contract to talk about. Zion Williamson signed a contract with the New Orleans Pelicans. He also got the Publishers Clearinghouse plus a stake of ownership in Amazon. It is 5 years, $193 million.
For a guy that's played less than one full season.
Exactly.
However, the asterisk to that is when he has played, and this is thanks to, I believe, either the Score or CBS Sports, he's put up some scoring averages that rival only 2 players in history. The first was LeBron. The second, Jordan.
Damn.
Those are the averages that people are saying his numbers, when he has played, have compared to. The question is about health. Because he's looked excellent when he's played, it just, as Reckoning alluded to, he has yet to play a full season.
I think
Is it
even
worth
in
it?
his two combined seasons, he hasn't played 82 games.
Exactly. He has yet to play a full season. So, giving him big bucks because he's a big star and he keeps looking like it every time he is on the court, good investment. Can you also get a few witch doctors since you're down in New Orleans to make a few sacrifices and keep him healthy? Please do.
God knows New Orleans has plenty of them. Especially, and now we got one last trade to talk about. DeJounte Murray, the future of the San Antonio Spurs, has just been traded to the Atlanta Hawks. Which is a shame because Spurs, this is the future of your franchise. I know you're in the middle of a deep rebuild, but still.
I don't think they're rebuilding personally. It feels like they're on, like, every great dynasty has that kind of downward, that keeps going downward. Eventually they hit that rock bottom. With Greg Popovich still there, I'm surprised he's not already retired, but I think that's coming soon. Because the team right now is just kind of drifting. They'll be good enough to make the playoffs, but they won't be good enough to do anything with them. So by doing this move, it shows like they're wanting to zero out and completely rebuild, even though it'll be a horrible way for Greg Popovich to go out. The Peyton Manning 2015 ending is rare.
Yeah.
It is that rare.
Yep.
Yep.
So I think it is now time.
Okay, and with that.
Oh, actually, wait. No, wait. One more thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was just going through different chats to make sure, but yeah, one more thing.
Go ahead.
USFL.
We're going to. Well, no, there's
Oh,
that. but
yes.
I was going to the NFL.
Oh no.
Oh,
All right.
NFL first. Let's do the NFL first.
Yeah.
Mark Murphy, the CEO of the Green Bay Packers, has announced in 3 years he will retire. Actually, it was 2 or 3 years. Wait. Yes, 3 years. In 3 years, he will retire from the main owner of the Green Bay Packers.
I thought they were owned by the
basically
fans.
the president.
Like they're 50% owned by the fans. Mark Murphy is technically the other part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Murphy is technically the main owner.
But basically, he's president, and he's basically
Yeah, and he's stepping
and
down.
basically,
You know,
he's the other voice.
yeah, he don't want to do this shit no more.
Yeah. Hang on. Isn't it like 50-51 where it's
Yeah, 51-49
I think it's-
probably.
I think he owns 50%, and
50+1 rule over
fans.
in Green
Some of
Bay,
the
that's my
fans own
question.
50%.
Also,
hang
health.
on, is it
As
we found
reckoning,
out
looks like
very
he has
quickly that
percent
health can
cam.
math because 50 and
The
51
internet.
makes 101.
is it this?
It'll be 51-49 if so.
Yeah.
But not 50,
But basically
50-51 like you said, health. So
Yeah, so it's basically 50+1. It's basically Green Bay's issued their own 50+1 rule, basically. If you agree with me, Zap.
the big thing that I think about with this is just like sometimes you can tell it ain't worth it. And even though it is Green Bay and
I think reckoning has potato cam.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like, you know what, sometimes you just know it's time and giving yourself that 3-year window to plan ahead, great.
Yep.
On the other hand,
Reckoning had a power surge.
Speaking of extended windows, USFL, Duck, Hell.
That's right.
Everybody,
The
go ahead.
Time, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
USFL
Hang on.
championship is right
Hang on,
around the corner, folks. Matter of fact,
It
we are
starts at 5 tonight?
7:30 Eastern time, which means we are
4:30 mine.
1 hour, 12 minutes away.
And
me and Kirby are going to be hosting a watch party after the show, providing play-by-play commentary. And no, we will not show the game because we will get banned. We'll get canned by the USFL. Anyways,
on the other hand,
you
know what?
Anyways,
enjoyed the show,
the
guys.
Birmingham Stallions and the Philadelphia Stars will be facing off in Canton, Ohio, at Hall of Fame Stadium for the first championship in the second edition of the USFL. If you watched the first edition of the USFL, you'll know that the Stars were the most storied franchise in that edition, making it to all 3 of the USFL championship games. They lost the first one to the Michigan Panthers, but the Philadelphia Stars won the second, and the Baltimore Stars got the second one. And that was the last championship game in the USFL. And here we are, over 35 years later, the Stars are back in the championship. And they earned it with an upset 1914 win over the New Jersey Generals to get in.
Because the Generals couldn't stop turning it over.
That's right. They had 2 interceptions, 1 lost fumble, and the Stars had made 1 less turnover. That's why they're in. And the Birmingham Stallions won the second semifinal game against the New Orleans Breakers in a 31-17 win. And in the box score, the Breakers can't stop turning the ball over. They had 2 interceptions. And Valor has to go. See you, Valor. Anyways, the Birmingham Stallions have been the front runners all year long, and the Philadelphia Stars are looking to follow in the footsteps
Oh
of
yeah,
their predecessors.
one more thing. The New Jersey was stopped inside the 10-yard line once too.
They were.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, so you guys can get preparing for that USFL game, let's get to the fun part.
All right.
Let's rip on some
yes.
teams. Because you know what it's
Yes.
time for?
It's time for the not-so-coveted shit-stain of the week.
I've already got
Boys,
mine.
Bozo
I'm
alert! Bozo alert!
All right,
Indeed.
All right, Reckoning had a power surge. He will not be making it to the rest of the show. However,
But
I
does he have
DM'd
it?
him
Don't. Yeah.
to see if I can get some of his nominees.
And I've already got mine, and we got some goodies.
I can't wait.
So, my question
hang
is,
on,
you
hang
got...
on. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for my gold here. 'Cause...
Hey, I can go if you guys need some time to think about it, because I got some doozies for this
What?
week. Kirby,
What?
do you got...
What?
First of all, Kirby, do you have yours? You need some time.
Hold on, I just
I
about
have
got
mine ready.
All right.
Should I
right.
go first then, or
Yep.
should
Health? Since I'm usually the one that goes first, I'm going to
I'll
give
go
you
first
that
this time,
distinction this
actually.
time.
Third
Go ahead,
place
Health.
for me is the FC Cincinnati. I'm sorry, you choke. What? You choked a 3-0 lead at home to the defending champions, New York City FC. What the fuck?
No,
And
they
you know
gave
what's
up
even-
4 goals in 14 minutes of play.
As
you
a
wanna
fan
know
of a
what's even worse
rival,
than? They made it a 4-4
I drink
draw.
to that.
Silver goes to Mexico under 20s.
Oh
you
man, I
royally
forgot
fucked-
about them.
Hang on, you royally fucked the ball this week. Do you want to know why? You actually went out and lost in penalties, meaning that you're not going to make it to the Olympics in 2024. You're also not going to make it to FIFA World Cup, to the Under 20 World Cup.
And guess what? United States is going to the Olympics. Let's go.
That.
Oh,
My
boy.
wording to you guys, not only best of luck to your men's team, but hopefully they drown in the group stage.
Let's go.
And I think we got a couple main points here, because I think it's time to say the Empire States Greys. Congratulations, you are my shit stain of the week yet again. This time for basically conjuring up the worst record in probably baseball history. That being said,
240.
30.
Happy
235.
Bobby Bonilla Day.
Suck it.
Yep, 240 for the Empire State Grays. That's bad, but I've got 3 that could be worse.
Hang on, I'm handing handing it to Kirby. 'Cause
Okay,
he's
so
also-
my bronze is the
You're going
Sooners for
nasty.
choking
You're
the
going
way you
nasty.
did,
You're going
for becoming yet again Choklahoma.
Yeah, he didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, so he's going to this week.
Go ahead.
How the fuck you were up 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th, and all you had to do was hold the lead. All you had to do, that's it, hold the lead, and you couldn't do that. Why? A string of singles comes in to tie the game, and then their ducks are on the corner, ducks on the pond, first and third. Wild pitch. Runner moves the third on the ground out, so just keep the deficit at 1. Whoop! Another ground pitch, another wild pitch. It's 4-2. Your batters all strike out in the 9th inning. Like all of them, all 3 of them. Strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. So, yeah, so, yeah, you kind of did that. So, come on. Come on, Soundpad, don't be leaving me hanging.
You're going to Brazil!
Yep.
Oh,
They're going to someplace worse than that.
And then there's the Nets, who I have no idea what the fuck you're doing. I have no idea what your team is. Like, I'm gonna be honest. What the fuck are you? What are you doing? You just going and freaking just throwing a stick of dynamite in there and just like boom, blow it up?
Wiley Coyote, be proud.
Yeah. And the Grays. Do I even need to say it? You lost 35 in a row. Bruh. Bruh, like the kid Gowie said, you could take the ugliest person in the room with 35, put him in a room with 35-year-old women. They were beautiful women. He's guaranteed to get at least one phone number.
Oof.
Unlike that individual, the Grays cannot score.
Woof.
Playing the sound.
And now, fun time.
Zep,
No,
how about
Doc-
you go?
No. I said Zep's going last today.
Okay.
Duck's got his.
Duck, do you have yours?
I'm finding all my stuff because my bronze is Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh.
If I can...
Oh, I know what you're
I
talking
can share
about.
my screen, then that would be freaking brilliant.
Oh
All right,
boy.
type
Did
it
they
up,
do
send
it again?
Well, they jinxed the freaking Lightning. Don't bother with help with jinxing the Avalanche. They did it because Dick's Sporting Goods decided to have a premature ejaculation. They promoted the Tampa Bay Lightning championship gear. You know, the 3-peat and all that bullshit. Well, guess what? You should have pulled out, but you didn't do it. And that's why you are the bronze for shit stain of the week. Silver is the Empire State Grays. 2-40 in a short season. I'm pretty sure you're new to this, but still. What are you doing?
Yikes.
The gold. And then my gold is the Mexican U20 team. I know you've already talked about this one, Elf, but let me throw my hat into the ring.
Please, go ahead.
So, you got placed into a group with Suriname, Trinidad, and Haiti. And it goes well for your first two matches, 8-0 and 5-0 win, respectively. But the first signal that something went wrong came in a scoreless draw against Haiti. But still things are going to go well for Mexico, right? I mean, you got 7 points in the group stage. Just got to count for something. Round of 16 against Puerto Rico ends in a 6-0 win. That's pretty easy. And then the quarterfinals against Guatemala. Match begins, nothing's drawn until the 39th minute when Guatemala scores the first goal of the night. That ends Mexico's defense. They allowed 0 goals so thus far in that tournament. That's the first goal they gave up. But don't worry, the officials are trying to fix everything for you. They're giving yellow cards to Guatemala. Cards out of their pockets, cards out of their ass. They're trying to help you so much. But in the 74th minute, don't worry, you get some breathing room. You score and you tie the game. You just need to score again, and you move on to the semifinals in the U20 CONCACAF tournament, and you make it to the World Cup. And you actually get a chance. A penalty for Mexico. Esteban Lozano, the top scorer on the team. You come to put the nail in the coffin, only to give it straight to the Guatemalan goalkeeper and hero Jorge Moreno. And extra time comes, nothing relevant, and the fall in Mexico comes in it more and more. 24 shots and only 1 goal so far in the game. And in one of the worst penalty shootouts that you will ever hear or see, they miss 4 penalties out of 5, thus giving Guatemala the win and the ticket.
Who choked harder, Mexico or Oklahoma?
This is Mexico. They gave Guatemala their first ticket to the U20 World Cup since 2011. As for Mexico, this is the first time you've missed out on the Olympics and the U20 World Cup since 2008 and 2009, respectively. Now you get to watch as your much hated rival heads over to Paris for the Olympics, while you're sitting on the couch doing nothing, like the guy at the end of Dodgeball after he lost Globo Gym, eating himself to obesity. That is
no. I'm thinking way worse.
What's that?
The infamous ban.
Just stop there.
Mexico did get banned from the World Cup.
Stop.
No, that's enough. But with Qatar just around the corner, yeah, good luck, Mexico. You're gonna need it.
And with that said, I think we've got the list here.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, Zep didn't go yet.
You're missing somebody.
I had yours on the list too.
So for mine, we'll start. Yeah, we'll just start with the bronze. USC. You guys were last relevant when Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart somehow brought your team to a title, and they got stripped because Reggie Bush got a little extra money. Pete Carroll,
he
moved over.
You know how to not lose that 2006 Rose Bowl? If you actually run Reggie on 4th and 2, dummy.
And don't even tell me that, USC's got some relevance. Their biggest name I can remember that's come out since their mid-2000s dominance was Sam Darnold. And before you say anything, before you give me other names, that's the biggest name I know, and not for the best reason. Silver, this happened just after we wrapped the last episode, and it's such a shame, because this is bad. Sahith Theegala, playing in the Travelers Championship in golf. He's having quite a good game. He leads with a 19 under heading into the 18th hole. The guy behind him, Xander Schauffele, is kind of close with an 18 under, but it's a par 4, and if he gets a birdie or par, he'll still be set, and the pressure will be on Schauffele. So, first shot, gets some distance, looks pretty good. Second shot, gets some distance, but ends up in the bunker. In a scene taken before disaster, they show him line up for the ball. And on shot number 3, he shoots it. It goes about an inch forward, then doubles that distance going backwards in the sand trap. He didn't even make it out of the sand trap despite wasting a stroke. But it's okay. He made it up on the green on the next shot, so he's fine, I think. But now the pressure's on because that was the shot he would have taken for par. So now he's got some distance. So he's okay. He's got 13 feet to the hole. He'll be fine. As long as the ball doesn't rim out or, completely miss, he'll have a bogey and he'll just be tied for the lead right now. That ball goes almost in but rims out, leaving it about a fingernail's length from the hole. And he taps it in for a double bogey. He had a minus 19 hitting into that hole. After that hole, he has a minus 17. Xander Schauffele, the guy right after him, gets a birdie and wins not only the hole, but he wins the championship by 2 strokes. And
We have a Vanderbilt.
yes, it is a Vanderbilt, just without the water.
This is just basically me right now, choking but with water.
Yep. And then the gold, the Brooklyn Nets. You guys really thought you could pull off a super team thing, didn't you? You got swept by the Celtics. Now the biggest reason why people had you favored, Kevin Durant, wants out. The biggest reason that people were clowning on you, Kyrie Irving, is still here. Oh, and by the way, that coach that hasn't been able to get you far, he needs to send him to greener pastures because if you guys are a super team, then I am king of the world. And by the way, I'm still waiting on my crown, Nets. Give it to me. And we have an honorable mention because in the sports world, there's no better day than this. Guys, on Friday, if you're a sports fan, you've heard of Bobby Bonilla Day.
Mm-hmm.
What is Bobby Bonilla Day, you might ask, as a non-sports fan or somebody who doesn't know? That's the day when the New York Mets pay former player Bobby Bonilla nearly $1.2 million a year up until the year 2035.
Because they chose to kick the can down the road.
Not only that, but just to give you a story, Bonilla, he played for the Mets twice in his career. The first time it didn't go so well because he had signed a massive 5-year, $29 million contract to become a Met. At the time, he was coming off a decent stint with the Pirates, where they made a couple NL Championship Series and then lost. But Bonilla was a reason that they got there. Bonilla's production dipped a little bit, which made that contract look a little much, but it wasn't bad enough for people to boo him. We forget this New York, and because of that, they booed the ever-loving crap out of him to the point where, notably, during a game, he had earplugs in his ears to block out the boos. And then, as if that first stint wasn't bad enough, he also, later on in that time, he once got so mad that he was assessed an error, he stormed into the dugout, called up to the officials, and asked who the bleep gave him an error. And then the media didn't really take that well, and he gets shipped off to Baltimore, makes another stop in Florida, gets a World Series ring, nice, takes another stop, and then ends up back with the Mets, who are now on the rise. Like this is going to go well. Problem is, they already found his replacement, who the fans loved, and when this replacement got taken out for Bonilla got booed again. The fans hated him. Still. And this time it's for a different reason. And now management didn't even want to work with him. And in the NL, at least the divisional series, when the Mets were losing, and he refused to pinch hit for them, he was caught playing cards in the dugout. So, the Mets obviously didn't like having this negative influence around. They wanted to build. So, they still owe him $5 million for the next season. They didn't have to pay him right away, and they could just buy him out because they wanted to save some money and get some other players. They did just that by getting although I believe the name I forget, I believe it's Mike Hampton, who won the NL player or NL Championship MVP and helped the Mets lead to a World Series. He got dealt, and that pick became David Wright. However, the reason they decided to pay him out that much over so long, because they had this brilliant investment scheme where they'd make even more money than they offered Bonilla. All they had to do was trust in this financial wizard by the name of Bernie Madoff. He ran the largest Ponzi scheme ever and fleeced the Mets, I should say. So, they still have to pay him that nearly $1.2 million, even though they kind of got toasted in the long term thanks to that Madoff dude. So every year on July 1st, when MLB players get paid, we celebrate that as Bobby Bonilla Day because they owe him $1.2 million.
To be specific, $1,139,248.20.
Up
Imagine
until
getting paid that for
Plus
doing
8%
for sitting around and doing
interest.
nothing.
It's also worth pointing out that he also gets a payout from the Baltimore Orioles for $205,000 every year until 2029, which was activated in 2004.
And
Now,
even
here's
then,
the-
we'd still get 6 more years with the Mets.
Now here's the thing. There are other deferred contracts. Thank you for that. There are other deferred contracts like that, Chris Davis, but Bonilla caused a lot more trouble to the New York Mets and a lot more headaches for their fans than any other deferred contract out there, even the notorious Chris Davis deal. So, Bonilla is still making that 1.2, all that money until 2035. By then, he'll be 72, and the Mets will hopefully realize they made a mistake by trusting Bernie Madoff. Oh wait,
Why do you think he's in prison now?
Oh wait, they trusted the Wilpons for that long? Oof.
Oof.
Thank you,
Hang on.
thank you,
At
Steve
least
Cohen.
don't be surprised that Madoff's in prison still, anyways.
But the Mets, they swung for the fences, thinking they had this great way to get out of contract. They round the first base, thinking they're great, and then
it's caught by the center fielder who jumps over the wall and it's thrown out.
Nope. Not only that, but they face plant halfway between first and second. So for that, sports fans, we continue to laugh at the Mets.
It's my laughter time. Hang on.
They definitely had one of these.
All right.
Hold on.
Alright.
I have a laugh
Hang on.
clip in here somewhere. I have a couple of them actually.
Go ahead.
I
Tom.
don't know if anyone will hear them.
Time out. Before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a tie for silver this week. Yet again, if I'm not mistaken.
Who's it between?
So, of course, our gold for this week is the Empire State Greys. Congratulations!
2 and 40.
Do you want to know what's also
Winner
great?
is you.
This is technically their second time in a row to win this bullshit award. Yes, we're counting last week where you won a game. Congratulations, you're still terrible. And
Hey,
you
you've
And
well
we're also
you-
gonna put that trophy for you up next to the fucks that I give. No offense.
Hang on. Wait,
And
guys.
Pat didn't make
So with
that
this
joke.
win, they have as many wins in Shit State of the Week as they do actual games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a perfect one.
And then
Our silver has to be the winner between the Nets and the Mexican under-20s.
let's go Nets, baby. It's all about the Nets.
Nets. Only the best for the Nets.
I am saying
Did
Mexico
you remember
for
when
mine.
we were
I'm
better
saying
than
Mexico.
the Knicks?
I'm saying Mexico.
Would you rather be the Nets or the Knicks?
I'd rather be in Sacramento.
So, I'm outnumbered here. Nets are silvers this week.
Because in Sacramento,
Nets are
you expect
silver.
nothing and no good with them.
And that means our bronze are the Mexico U20s. How do you lose to Guatemala?
Better yet, how do you lose to an underperforming Central American team?
You know how? They pulled the Steelers, played down to their competition, but did not get a bailout. They looked
Or
like
worse.
the 2020
Or worse.
playoff Steelers. 11-0, right?
I want a question here. Congratulations, you still can't even make it past the round of 16.
The wheel of failure keeps on turning. And with that being said, let's wrap this up because we got some USFL coming up thanks to Duck and Kirby.
Can we talk about
Kirby,
like
you are kicking this off? You are kicking us off for our shoutouts.
can we I think we should first you guys want to go first?
You're
It's on
going
you, man.
first.
You're going first.
Am I just shouting out whatever?
Yeah.
Just shout out any streams you want to talk about. Any people who.
I mean, I probably shouldn't do any self-plugging in here.
Yeah,
Because
go ahead. It's fine. You can do
Go
that.
ahead.
I do it most of the time anyways.
I mean, follow my own. I do my own streams on Twitch. I also do a couple of other channels such as CPUs play Mario Party, play sports games, fighting games. I need to get back on my Fatality channel eventually, but that'll come in due time. But yeah, I guess I can just do that. But
Yep.
you can check it out if you get the chance.
All right.
Alrighty.
And with that, I'm going to head out and go get ready.
All right. Zep,
All right,
you're on the
Zep.
block now.
Alf, I already had it taken care of.
Just
And
just
whatever.
like the Mexico under 20 team, somebody kept kicking it wide.
Hey.
Anyways, as per usual, shoutouts: Moral Pair Lake, Chloe Fluff, I'm Zeke, J Bear, Double A Gaming, Sutters, The Raven Arms, and of course our usual suspects in Dodger Zion and Beer Batter Aggie Syndrome. But I also want to take time to make a very special mention to Druish Princess. Your Colorado Avalanche are Stanley Cup champions, and
Horn.
you mentioned you're happy to see it, and hopefully this is the series to help get you into hockey. But if not, your boys are going to have the warmest summer they've had since 2001. Enjoy it. And also, I want to give another special mention to the Not Top Plays of the Week for helping me find some Not Top Plays. Even though I didn't need it this week, it was the Thagala showed up there anyways. And of course, shout out Secret Base because their content has been really, really nice to watch when I just need inspiration to get stuff going, especially for sports stuff like this. And also, Nets, please just free Steve Nash and send him to a team that actually could use him rather than waste him on a super team.
All right.
Next.
Doc.
All right. So a huge shout out to Dodger and Ag, of course, and huge shout outs to Off the Wall Hockey and Action Lab for allowing me to promote this podcast. Him and Reckoning. Reckoning is actually a mod on the Action Lab server. And they stream every Wednesday and Saturday. Be sure to check these guys out.
Sunday, dipshit.
I said Sunday, asshole.
I heard Saturday.
Well, need to get your ears checked. Anyways, and I know I'll replay the footage, and I'm gonna say Saturday. I know. Anyways, be sure to check him out. And tonight we're gonna be doing another watch party. We're gonna be doing 2 streams on this holiday weekend. Me and Kirby are going to be watching the
USFL.
Keep saying it. Keep talking.
We're going to be streaming the USFL championship game in just less than an hour. So be sure to check that out. And Helv, you go next.
All right. With that
Asshole.
said, and of course for me, hey, check me out on Twitch, HFB. I'm going to postpone mainly the first stream of the month because, one, I did cover USF last week. This week will be a little bit different. We'll be doing some normal shenanigans this week. So, yeah. No USF coverage. Which, that will be happening. Our USF playoff coverage will begin next week. Also, first, and of course, I have to do this again. And, of course, thanks to everyone who's might as well watch this, as well as Kirby for joining in today, McGoat for joining in as well as Adina. And also a huge thank you to Dodger Zion, Beer Bagger Daddy Syndrome, and the U-Tree community. You the off-the-wall hockey, as like Doug said. And of course, in grandiose fashion, like last time, Action Lab.
Nice.
Yes, I did it again. And I gotta keep this up. And also, and of course, Duck and Kirby will be viewing USFL today. Hey, check that out when you get the chance. And one final shout out for me. Of course, I shouted out a local ball hockey league team this week. I'm gonna shout out one of my ex-teammates in minor lacrosse, Sam LaRue. Dude, I saw you lose, I believe, 6-12 yesterday. Hopefully the Burnaby Lakers can do a little bit better with you guys this upcoming season before you guys get sent over to the WLA.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Luck, dude.
And hopefully you guys try and do your best to gain Minto this year. And with that said, any final words, gentlemen?
Everybody out there, thank you for tuning in. Please leave a like and subscribe if you like this content. If you have any suggestions for the next episode, please feel free to leave them below. And as always, thank you for watching. Good night, Torchlight.
Be sure to check out the USFL watch party as well tonight. We'll be going live in just under 45 minutes, so check that out.
And with that said, that is the show for this week. And with that said, we will see you next week, where more shenanigans may or may not happen. We'll find out.
Oh, they're gonna happen.
And probably alongside with the World Juniors being re-kicked off without Russia.
Good night, New York.
Good night.
Hi, everybody.
Good night. Try not to